I thought I would introduce you to my studio and show you what's going on in here. So let's take a walk around. Hi, my name's Arlene Bishop. I'm a performing singer-songwriter, and I'm also a recently diagnosed autistic adult. And I've started this channel to explore what it means to be an artist on the spectrum. So I'm sharing what I learn, and I'm sharing what I'm exploring. I explore these things about myself because, I guess, as an autistic person, I spend a fair amount of time up in my head. So I've come up with some theories, and I wanted to run them past you. And I thought I would do it in my studio, and it only makes sense that while we're here in my studio, before we start off on all these different subjects about songwriting and co-writing and producing and album artwork and the music business and all those kinds of topics that are related to being an artist in my field, I thought I would introduce you to my studio and show you what's going on in here. So let's take a walk around. So first of all, you can see I've got a lot of stuff. This stuff is all meaningful to me. I mean, my guitar, there's my guitar. And then I've got some extra guitars. That's my partner Yod's guitar there. And that banjo. Be interesting to learn how to play the banjo. I have a hard time learning new instruments. I really envy musicians who can just pick up an instrument and start to play. That's not me. I'm not one of those musicians. I have my guitar. I've got my acoustic guitar, and it's something that I've been playing all my life. Not this particular guitar, but something that I've been playing all my life, starting just with the low E string. I would spend hours when I was a kid just banging away on the low E string. Something about those single notes really spoke to my soul, right? Something about it. I loved the, I loved the depth. I love the vibration. I love the feel of the guitar against my body. And I liked to put my ear against the guitar and just listen to the notes ring out. So when I started playing guitar, I thought of myself as being a tiny little orchestra. Each string being sort of a section of the orchestra playing a different thing. And here, you know, there's practical sections. This is my storage, because I'm also an office, and I don't like that stuff to be all over the place. But in those doors, there's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of files, there's a lot of CDs from back in the day when CDs were a thing. And here you can see, yeah, candles. Well, you can see that generally I like things to be dark. If I had my way, I'd be in the dark much of the time. I don't like bright lights. I don't like the sound that they make and the flickering that they do, which I never realized was a thing. I mean, I just lived my whole life, you know, coming home and turning off the lights and being in the dark and just having whatever light I needed to have to not bump into things. But even then, I mean, you stay in a place for long enough, you know your way around. And I always thought that I could just maneuver my way around. But I do have a fair number of candles going, and sometimes I've got my incense going, unless it's too much for me in that day. And the incense I like to burn is just cedar. I like it to sound like, isn't that funny? Incense doesn't have a sound, or does it? I like it to smell like a fire, like an outdoor fireplace, like camping. That's the closest I can get to it. Oh, check it out. This is one of my paintings. It's funny, it makes me laugh now. I painted this a few years ago, before I knew that I was on the spectrum, and before I learned that expression about having enough spoons to deal with things. Well, there it was. I painted a spoon. It's a big spoon. Yeah, it was one of the projects I've done. I've always done all kinds of different projects. Whatever I can do to help get my, I guess to process my emotions. I'm not sure what it is. I think that's what it is. To communicate, definitely. I've used my art, my songwriting as a way to communicate. Sometimes just to communicate with myself. Sometimes to communicate with others. Sometimes to try to win an argument. But let's see, what else do we have? Oh, I've got some old things, some fun things. Oh, I've got some artwork. Part of my life, yeah, my life is filled with artwork actually. I have a number of artists in my life. This is this piece here, which feels a little egotistical showing it to you, but it's so awesome. This is David P. Stevens, and he's an artist based in Cape Breton on the east coast of Canada. He's so talented. I love his stuff. And when I got connected to him, just as a fan, I just became connected to him as a fan. I loved his artwork, and he then connected with me as being a fan of my music, which was really, you know, a mutual appreciation society. And then he sent me this piece of artwork. Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild? He does all kinds of things. You should check him out. Find him and check him out. He does all kinds of wild and wonderful things. And let's see, what else is this? Oh, this is a found object. This is an object that my father found. My father, who's now, you know, in the cosmos. And he just loved that thing. I guess it's called a burl. I think it's a burl. He saved it and he cleaned it up. And I stuck it on that pin there so that I could look at it and think of him. Then there's my workspace. I love my desk. My desk is brand new. My sweetheart, Yod, gave me this desk for Christmas. Isn't that nice? It's my first desk. A whole life of never having a desk. I've been working off kitchen tables. But here I have, this is my own studio. This is my own office studio. It's my own space. And I'm lucky. I mean, I acknowledge that I'm lucky to have it. That's where I made the album Coping Mechanism, which didn't have any guitar on it at all. I used a guitar at one point to frame something because I had an idea in my head and I wanted to frame it. And let's see, the piano. There's a piano. How lucky am I to have a piano? I wish I could play. I can't. It's kind of like the guitar. I just hit some notes. I love hitting the notes. Piano's got such a great sound. Oh, I guess it's the same thing. Strings on a piano, strings on a guitar. Yeah, it's basically the same thing. How marvelous is that, eh? Instruments are wild. Yeah, instruments are wild. And on the piano, some more artwork. There's Bob Hope. When I was a kid, and other girls were fans of, I don't know, what were they fans of? Bay City Rollers, Leif Garrett, right? I was a fan of Bob Hope. Anyways, I used to write letters to him, and I sent him a couple of gifts, and I got a couple of, I got this signed photo. This is an enlargement of the original photo. I got a photo back from him, and I got a Christmas card at one point, which was really nice. Yeah, and there we have, what else do we have? Oh, that cribbage board. That was my father-in-law's, who was also in the cosmos. And I don't know, I just like that cribbage board. And that deck of cards, that reminds me of my son, whose middle name is the name of a planet. So there you go. That's why I like that deck of cards. And then look at this painting. I love this. I love this. This is from a Toronto-based artist named Matt James. Great. I love those two characters. They make me laugh. Matt paints and he writes children's books and he illustrates children's books. And he's just, he's got a great vibe. He's a great guy anyway, as is David P. Stevens. Artists, right? I get along with artists. I don't know what it is, but I do. These masks up here, these are carvings. My parents are carvers. My mother is still a carver. These masks were made by my folks. The one with all the holes in it. And my father called that the headache. I think our horrible headaches, yeah, they ran in the family. My brother gets them too. I get them. It's part of my burnout, are my awful headaches. And here's a marvelous painting by Toronto artist, multimedia artist, musician, painter, sculptor, very talented individual named Swinghammer. This is one of his paintings. Isn't that splendid? It's marvelous. It's got a nice personal message on the back, which maybe I'll show you sometime. And some books that I enjoy. I'm a big fan of David Sedaris. He just makes me laugh. He makes me laugh, and he's got the right kind of salty darkness. It's a good vibe for me. Yeah, there you go. There's some sage. What's sage doing there? Sometimes I can't deal with the smell of sage, but it's cleansing, so I like that. Oh, and over here we have some Mukluks. Mukluks that were from where I was born. I was born in Churchill, Manitoba, which is in northern Canada, where there is a indigenous population, Inuit people, First Nations people, and these Mukluks bring me great joy. I feel an affinity for the people where I was born. Oh, there we have this is my father's Jembe, which he was just learning towards the end of his life. But he liked that Jembe, so that's fun. I like to have that here, a nice vibe, remembering him. So I guess that's why I hold on to some of these things, because they keep me connected with those people, which of course they don't really. When people are gone, they're gone. Oh, there's an award. I won an award at one point. I'm proud of it. Seems like a big ego, blah, 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 to talk about it, but there it is. An award. Kind of nice. Sweet that somebody would think of me. Oh, there's my light. I love my light. My light, which I barely ever have on. My light's an example of my secondhand shopping. I don't like to go into malls and so forth. I'm a secondhand shopper, and who knows what you're going to find. And one day, I found that light. I found that light for $20, which is really a bargain. So I guess this is one of the things about being an artist on a spectrum, having my own space. But what did I want to say about having my own space? Oh yeah, I like to have my own space because I don't like for other people to be able to hear me. And I don't like for people to walk up behind me and look over my shoulder. Yeah, I don't like that. I like to create in private. So Coping Mechanism, the album that I made that sort of launched this whole concept, well, the album that I made as I was discovering that I'm neurodivergent, which I think is it's like a cinematic depiction. It's musical depiction of the cinematic things that were going on in my mind. I just tried to score what was happening in my mind. These questions that I'd had for years about what was going on in my mind and how it was different, seemed to be different than other people's minds. But this is where I made a Coping Mechanism, which I made with a household full of people. My partner Yod was here, my son Owen was here, my mother Judy was here, the dog was here, and the cat was here. So there was no privacy really. So I made Coping Mechanism under my headphones, which gave me privacy. Really, I just wanted to explore my mind. I didn't have anything to say. I just wanted to see. And that's why I then made that film. So that, I guess, are other things about being an artist on the spectrum. What do you know about being an artist on the spectrum? Are you an artist on the spectrum? Do you create? Those are my people. Artists are my people. I'm an artist people. And I'm a neurodivergent person. And I'm an artist people. And I'm a neurodivergent person. I'm autistic. And finding out that I'm an autistic person really made me feel less like an alien, less like an outsider. It really gave me some context to the challenges that I've been facing so many times in my life. So thank you very much for coming by my studio. Please come back because I want to talk about what does it mean? What does it mean to be an artist on the spectrum? Please leave me a like, maybe leave me a comment. Tell me about yourself. I'd love to hear about you. And I'd love to build this channel. So please subscribe if you think that this is something that you want to hear more about. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you.